Welcome back to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here, and it's the 24th, isn't it?
It is.
It's the 24th of
Amazing.
October. Where did the month go?
Where'd the year go?
Yeah, I know. Well, isn't that the truth? Bonnie Bell Anderson. Did I get that
You
correct?
did.
Triad Wealth.
Right.
Right.
Triad Wealth Management.
Wealth management. Let's get it all correct,
Okay.
right? Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
there are a number of things that we all look at as we go through life and so forth, and whether that Social Security is going to be there for young people now, and if so, what might it look like or not look like, and what other kinds of things we need to be doing. My kids are 37 through 49, 48, and they've all realized that they have to start saving because they don't know what is going to be there, like mom and dad, who can sit back in some ways with Social Security and so forth. But that first point of retirement, at least right now, is Social Security. What should we be thinking about in terms of, not for me and my age, I've been drawing it for a number of years, but for those that are looking at it in the next decade or two or four?
Well, they should be putting as much aside themselves as they possibly can.
Okay.
That's number one. Now, I can tell you, now don't hold me to this, but my belief is that Social Security will be there. I just don't know what form it's going to take in the future.
I think you're right.
I am encouraging Congress. I've talked to Kathy McMorris Rogers about this, about getting on the stick and getting the changes made to make sure that it's viable long term.
Right.
But however that works out, it will be there. But I feel like the younger generation coming up, they've got to take more personal responsibility for saving. And they just have to save more than what they're doing.
So how do they approach that?
Well, they should first spend less than they earn.
What a novel idea.
I know, isn't that a novel idea?
Yeah, if we could get the federal and state governments to
I
start
know,
doing
that would even be better. Talk to Jeff about that,
yes,
right?
set an example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is true, right?
It is true.
Yeah.
And it's true for everybody, not only people that have a lot of money, but anybody. If we can just discipline, it gets down to the decisions that you make every day,
right?
And the discipline that you put into your life to pay yourself,
right?
And to save and not to spend every single penny that you have coming in.
Now, okay, assuming that we start doing that and we have some leftover dollars that are for investment, how do we start doing that? First, probably check with your employer to see what's available there.
Right.
Wouldn't you think? 401k.
Yeah, 401ks.
Pensions are going away.
Yeah, they
for
are.
The most part.
There's a few left, but really, there's not that much.
No.
The 401k, that term 401k, that's actually a section of the IRS code.
Right.
That basically lines out how you can defer money from your paycheck.
Right.
And I tell people, if you have a 401k or a simple IRA or something that's some kind of company retirement plan, do it, because the employer is going to match that, and it's free money.
Yes.
So, and that in a lot of cases is the best way for people.
And it's sort of what's left of a pension these days, really, isn't it?
Really.
Yeah.
Well, it basically shifted from the employer having responsibility for your retirement to you having responsibility for your retirement.
Yeah.
So, and that's just, there's so many things like that going that way.
What other legs are there in the stool of preparing to retire? Social Security, taking advantage of the 401k or other retirement IRAs, Roth, is it the Roth?
The Roth IRA, where you have the money has come into your checking account, and so you've paid taxes on it.
Right.
But then it grows tax-free.
Right.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, yeah. Until something changes.
Until the senators decide to change something.
Yeah, we're always subject to that, aren't we? I mean,
we
it
are.
really comes down to it. Yeah.
But I am a big proponent of being financially educated.
Okay.
I've taught Social Security classes at the Spokane Community College for the last 3 years.
Okay.
And the biggest thing for people to not make mistakes is to get educated. And like in the case, I'm writing a book for financial.
I wanted to get to that because I think that's kind of
professional
fun.
athletes.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't turn out that way, but more and more I got sucked into these crazy stories of these 25-year-olds who are being handed all this money,
Right.
and then they promptly way overspend,
Right.
and get themselves into huge trouble. And so my feeling was, if they could just get themselves on track, if I can help even a few of them, then they'd be able to go out and do something great in the world and give back with their extra resources.
Well, we know they're going to buy Mom a home and
That's
have
right.
it paid for. Okay.
They
Yeah.
are. They're going to do that.
Yeah.
But they need to, just like any of the rest of us, they need to set a budget,
Right.
decide how much they're going to spend every month,
Right. Right.
and then not, and try not to deviate from it. For the case of athletes, there's a lot of pressure to buy everybody in the bar
Yes.
a drink.
Yes.
Or to
Or cars or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Yes.
The stories are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one example out there that's Ron Gronkowski, who people will recognize as being on the New England Patriots. He doesn't spend a penny of the money he gets for being a football player with that team.
Oh, wow.
He saves all of it. Now, a lot of these cases, they have endorsements. He
Yes.
uses his endorsement money to live. But
Okay.
he's a great case of a player.
Thinking long term.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they could so totally set themselves up for financial security if they kind of scale back and not give in to the pressure.
Wow.
In the case of normal, regular Americans,
The rest of us. 99% of us, yeah.
I mean, the principles are the same.
Yeah.
It's spend less than you earn, be financially educated,
Right.
be thinking long term. Think about how are the ways that life could go sideways,
Yeah. Yeah.
and prepare for those, and hope for the best, but plan for the worst.
Now, where are you in this book? I've got to ask that question because you're getting kind of
I'm
close.
getting close.
Yeah.
I have been writing the manuscript for, it started like 6 years ago, and then I had an issue with a daughter who was diagnosed with cancer. Everything was put to the
yes.
side. She has survived, and she's
All
going
right.
on.
Good.
But it's been the last 2 years that I've really taken this up. I hired a book coach, and the manuscript is just about done. I'm about to send it to a proofreader, and then I'm going to be going into and you're going to be helping me with
Yes.
the launching
Okay.
of this book.
Yes.
And so that will be happening. I'm hoping to have the whole proofreading, editing part done by the end of the year.
Oh, fun. That'll be fun. And maybe we can bring an athlete in or something,
I
too.
know.
Wouldn't that
Wouldn't
be
that be
fun?
fun?
That would really be fun. Because we've all, unfortunately, seen the stories of folks that, even in Hollywood and other places, who are now in the retirement homes and everything else because they spent their wad of money.
Yeah.
They made millions of dollars and they went through it.
Yeah.
And so forth.
What a
They tried to
waste.
be, yes. And in fact, my wife mentioned the other day, are we buying a lotto ticket and so forth?
Yeah.
And her response was, well, we put $1 million or $2 million in savings or whatever, and
Yeah.
invest it, and the rest we invest in the community.
Do you know
and
my
other
reaction?
things.
My reaction this morning when I heard that somebody
someone
did
did win, yes.
and I went, oh no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Because it's like 99.9%
Yep.
guaranteed that they have no idea
Right.
what to do. So hopefully they're going to get good help.
The first two things I've always said when someone asks what would you do if you win, one is I'd hire security for myself and my
That's
family.
right, yes.
Okay, and number two, a financial expert who can come
Yes.
in and do that.
Yes.
And those would be the first two things, because you can worry about the rest later, but you want to be sure everyone is
Oh, yeah.
is safe and that you do the right things, because there are better ways to invest it and so forth. So.
That's right.
Okay, great information. How can people, Bonnie, get in touch with you?
Well, they can. I have my office in the flour mill.
Okay.
I'm on the 6th floor of the flour mill.
Okay.
And
Do you have a good view?
I do.
Oh.
I have an amazing view of the river and
So we got to
the
come see you
pavilion.
just for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. That when somebody comes in my office for the first time,
Yes.
that's the very first thing I do is say, "Come on over to the
Yeah,
window
window.
and take a look at the river."
Okay, so I've got to come over and see your
Yes.
spot. You've
Yes.
always come here, so
Right.
I've got to come over and see the spot. So in the flour mill, but how can people get in touch with you in terms of I assume you would take clients if they called and would sit
Yes,
down with them
yes.
and talk about what
What we
your
do is
cost
go
would be,
through,
what they would
right.
need. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we go
phone
through
number?
the phone number is 509
Yes.
822
Okay.
1082.
And again, the name of the company is?
Triad Wealth Management.
Okay. You're on Facebook?
We're on Facebook.
Are you
I
on
do
the
have a
website as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And website and LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're all where all of us are today.
I hope we're all hooked up.
We don't exist if we're not on LinkedIn
That's right.
and Facebook and
I know.
Okay. Bonnie, thank you very much. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to maybe after the first of the year, the book and
Yes.
hearing more
It's
about
gonna
it,
be
because
exciting.
I think while you talk about for athletes, the points that you're going to make, I'm guessing, are going to be the ones that we ought to be listening to as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
so,
it applies to anybody.
yeah, yeah. When we can dream that we have millions.
I
to do
know.
it.
They just happen to have all this money and then
Yeah.
they don't know what to do with it. So, yeah.
Okay.
I wanna change
Thank you
that.
for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what's on the ballot. You may already have your ballot. You may have already voted. If you haven't, we're going to talk about the school district bond issues, very important for our community, right after this.